Islam, Islam, Islamism. Praise Allah, honors to the Prophet Noble Ali, honors to the divine constitution and bylaws that keep us in line with our Constitution and the organic Constitution of the United States of America. Praise Allah and honors to everything that's Moorish, everything that makes us Moorish American. The flag's Moorish, red flag with the 5-point green sign and saying. Today's show is the life of war. And you're probably wondering why did I come up with this idea? Because even before you were born, you were fighting for your life as a sperm trying to get to the egg. And as you were being created and fertilized with the thought of Allah made manifest, you were the chosen one. Now, you're either going to be the chosen one and learn the difference between right and wrong and serving Allah. And when man does for man, man does for Allah. So we're all appointed to do work for Allah, but everything goes around as free will and choice. We have to understand that the war itself is more of an entity that creates hardship and turmoil and calamities and force people into a situation where they don't want to be. And contracts are everything. We always have to keep in mind that the things we confess our mouth will manifest themselves into things that we say we desire and we choose it for ourselves, but all of a sudden we just get burnt out. It's like eating your favorite food every single day, but yet still you're getting burnt out. And no matter how good it tastes, once it leaves your taste buds and your esophagus, you begin to feel a certain way. You begin to feel like a sense of dehydration. And that's what this thing that we call war amongst ourselves and our people since the beginning of the 1700s. We're rolling into the mid 1800s, and everything begins to reflect and manifest itself from Jim Crow law to modern day society. Until we understand the conditions of the past, we will never understand why the so-called Negro, blacks, and coloreds are subjected to laws that are not even real and to something that's legal that's not even law. And then you have a group of people who represent the Ku Klux Klan. There are officers in every branch from law enforcement to military, you name it. And we got to start thinking, which people are faking, and while they're fooling us, we're accepting being a fool to their way of thinking. Until we start understanding that everyone else except 30% of the people on this earthland who don't have nationality, we're going to continue to fall to the wayside. I don't care if you call yourself Puerto Rican. And you know how many people I've actually spoken to who said that Puerto Rico or being Puerto Rican is a nationality? I think they need to check the record again. Like, for real, for real. This may come off as slander or defamation of character, but everything goes back to studying and research and study for yourself to come to the conclusion that a group of people, whether they be called Negro, Blacks, Colors, Latino, Chicano, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, Guam, and Costa Rica, Philippines, and all these names that allude to slavery, we cannot look past the things that have happened in the past, because if we cannot look at the things that happened in the past, we can't figure out the future. We cannot correct something if we're going to overlook this dis-ease. And this dis-ease, hear me out when I say this, that we have to start thinking for ourselves. We have to start playing the numbers game, how they used to do on a piece of paper. You play, connect the dots and formulate this image or whatever. That's what we got to do. That's what the so-called Negro, Blacks, and Colors, Puerto Rican, Latino, Chicano, Hispanic people got to do. Because all of a sudden, as I was saying before in my last few shows, that they're going to send the immigration entity to knock on people's doors to see who got nationality. Now, everything goes back to identity crisis, identity theft, and the people in Wall Street are the one to uphold your name and creating commerce off your name, making business off your name, and you're just getting the other hand of the stick. Not to mention you're getting taxed to death. You're getting taxed for everything. I'm surprised you're not getting taxed to breathe air. But you're getting taxed on food. Everything is going back to Caesar and everything is going back to Rome. But yet and still people still want to follow this specific entity that is supposed to save them. And when you call for help, nothing's coming, as DMX say. But yet still, the common people don't think. Right now, what's going on in America is that a lot of Moorish Americans have been held captive. Since the marks were being put upon us in 1779. We have got the authorization to be free from the plantation, but our people chose to go back to it, picking cotton and all that stuff. So after the emancipation was done, one failed to proclaim. Now, mind you, there's only a few percentage of the people who proclaim their nationality as Moorish descendant. And it's not that many. What keeps the people blinded is not knowing who your ancestors were or your ancient forefathers and mothers were. Because if you knew, a lot of the stuff about prison in Hollywood wouldn't even be in existence. This form of entertainment is demonic. It's evil. Do you know what you got to do to go get a record deal? But yeah, still, you want to follow these ones. These ones are stuck in the contract and they can't get out. They put all kinds of stuff in the movies about wanting certain things and desire certain things. Sign your name on the dotted line, sign in blood, and all that stuff. They told you throughout the movies. And one of those movies was Ghost Rider, the first one. But people failed to pay attention to the details. Whether it be a Marvel movie, DC Comics movie, or whatever movie, they always have to expose some truth for you to be able to look at it and take it for what it is. No one understands the movie until you look at it into detail. But always remember, devil's in the details. Anytime someone looks over catastrophe and calamities, they turn a blind eye to things, but yet they don't focus on the intention that was being done or the harm that was being done, nor they look at the ulterior motive and the reason why that has happened. I just found out nationwide, well, not all nations, but in certain states, gangbanging is still going on. Chicago, Los Angeles, California, especially Southside Chicago, Illinois, Cook County, Newark, New Jersey, New York, Minnesota, other places. But yet and still, they're fighting over something that they have no access to, that they're not even have access to the land, but yet they claim it as theirs. You can't claim something that is yours if you're still subjected to slavery. Until you understand that the condition of why ones are gangbanging, people have a choice, but certain resources are limited because some people feel like there's no other way out. Well, there's a way out, but either you're going to accept the truth for what it truly is for face value, or you're going to sit here and accept some folly that they tell you on TV. Now, speaking of television, or should I say tell your vision, is when you watch television, they got you under hypnosis. That's number one. Number two, they're dictating to your mind your vision. They got a few things captivated. Your vision, that's number one. That's how you're going to watch TV, your vision. They have your ears, they have your audio. And now, here comes the manipulation of the brain of the mind. So now you got to really take things for what it truly is. Is it some information on TV, or is it some TV show that got some truth to it that's being revealed? Or are you just watching it for the slapstick, for the funnies and all this other stuff? How is it that a group of people fail to understand the condition and it's right there in front of their faces, but they see there's nothing wrong with it? Anytime a woman or a girl promotes a man or a boy that he's uncomfortable with himself and to do this cross-dressing thing, it's a problem. It's a problem, family, because now the Bible teaches us that, do you not realize that the people won't inherit God's kingdom? Or Allah's kingdom, I should say. Drunkards, slanderers, adulterers, fornicators, and homosexuals will not inherit God's kingdom. So it's not saying that you have to be pure or righteous. That means you have to have a pure heart. In order to have a pure heart, you have to be able to dissect the truth from falsehood. Now, in order for you to do all that, you have to really sit down and start thinking. Is this right? Should I promote this behavior of evil? Should I promote this behavior of a woman being a Jezebel? Should I promote this behavior of this young man being a King Herod, and anybody who don't honor him, he's going to kill him on sight? Brother, brother, brother. Sister, sister, sister. My brothers and sisters out there, the ones who are lost, this is going out to y'all. You have no idea what you're getting yourself into. You have no idea of who you are worshiping. Because if you was to worship the great God Allah, the words that come out your mouth would not even be uttered or said. Well, you can sit here and say God is love all you want, but now the question is, what God are you serving? And please do not go there with me with the uppercase G and the lowercase g. Matter of fact, the word God itself cannot even be translated as far as going back to Aramaic or Arabic. It can't, because God is a modern word. So all y'all out there who have that indoctrinated state of mind that you choose to worship three gods, that's beyond me. If the Ten Commandments say, "Thou shalt not put any other God before me," well, then that should tell you right there that there's only one. Fast forward, John chapter 14 verse 15 says, "If you love me, you'll keep my commandments." If I'm wrong, I stand corrected on that scripture, but yeah, if it says, "If you love me, you'll keep my commandments." So, all the while, we have this satanic entity that's creating another state of mind of some lower vibration thinking to denounce who you are made to be in order to be something that you're not. I never understood it. I never will understand it. And I choose not to understand it. There is no such gender as transgender or trans people or binary or X or whatever. This is the trickery that the Lucifer, Satan, Devil, Dragon, and Beast puts over on the people to make options and make choices. Well, do you know it may be convenient to call yourself that, but that's not what it states on your birth certificate? Persons can say they are transgender all they want, but that's not what the record reflects on the birth certificate. And the only way you can do that is alter the birth certificate, which I can highly doubt. But if you do that, you're causing a lot of hardship and a lot of extra legal paperwork that leads to all this confusion. And this is why I have my show today. Because my brothers and sisters out there have no idea. A man can't reproduce himself without a woman. And a woman can't bear children without a man. Now, you can go to a laboratory all you want. You can catch all this ejaculation or whatever from a man or whatever. But that's just straight not normal. I just pray that y'all can really come into an understanding of a specific condition that is being put upon our people, that's forced down the people's throats to the point where they have no choice but to choose. And the bad thing is, once the birth certificate is already written, you can't change the gender. You can call yourself whatever you want, but it doesn't mean that's factual. If a man goes into the man's restroom, he's considered a man. If a woman goes into the woman's restroom, she's considered a woman. If he decides to be a cross-dresser, that doesn't make him a woman. Doesn't make him a girl or whatever. It just makes him who he is. It's just that his neurons ain't popping correctly. Because if anybody knows one thing about a woman can get very emotional. But this is the kicker. The way you see women act, especially the Jezebel ones and the Ruth Moabitess ones, you notice they don't put extra emphasis into body language, speech, hand gestures, and so on and so on. That's how you could tell the difference between a transgender man, so-called man to woman, or between a woman. A woman don't put extra emphasis on the walk. Now, unless she's doing something to get a man's attention or whatever, or her husband's attention, and dressing provocative for her husband, that's a different story. But you don't see that in public. Constantly flipping the hair and prancing around the street or whatever. You don't see that real women do that. My mom don't even do that. My aunties and grandmoms don't even do that. I'm just kicking the facts. Now, either you're going to be real with yourself and take heed to the words I'm saying, or you could just don't like it, throw it away. Don't come back to my channel ever again if you don't want to know the truth. I hear all this stuff, stories about women with dildos and all this other stuff. It's crazy. A woman can't reproduce herself and get the same pleasure as she does from a dildo from a dude who knows how to perform. Now, as far as performance is concerned between a man and woman, it goes way deeper than sex. Because in chapter 22, the vice from the Holy Prophet, duty of a husband says be faithful to her bed. And it doesn't always mean sexually. It means that keeping what is pure and sacred to her heart, mind, body, and soul. That's what that means. It can mean also sharing yourself with your mate. It could also mean that too. But again, it also depends on the state of mind where you're at. But you brothers and sisters out there want to play like you married and stuff like that because you got yourself a girlfriend. You can't go to court with that and say, yeah, well, my girlfriend didn't pay the bill and she didn't give me my mail and we got issues. Judge gonna look at you, you're incompetent. And you just broke the law, so now you about to get fined. Penalty, assessment, court fees, you name it, depending on the traffic violation, whether it's an infraction, whether it's a felony or whatever, a misdemeanor, vandalism, whatever. Who knows? But all I know is that if we keep blaming other people for our problems and don't look at ourselves and say, I messed up, I got me a baby mom who's a Jezebel, and I got 5 babies by her, hypothetically, allegedly, right? It doesn't mean that you're less than a person of telling the truth. It just means that you're owning up to your mistakes and you're about taking care of your responsibility. Just like they say back in the 70s. If you don't take care of your business is going to take care of you. Everything you put out comes back in a full circle. Thought, word, deed, and action. When there's an action, there's a reaction. Now, how many people out there can own up to where they messed up and what they did was wrong? That's just a question. Swing on over to the chat. Let's see who we have in the chat. We got one person. I think I've seen this person. Nobody. Nobody says hi. Well, heaven high to you too. And no, we don't say hello because hell is not low. Peace and blessings to you. Nobody. Can't determine the gender because I don't know. But the most important thing. Oh, I forgot. I got 2 likes for this channel. Got 1 person watching. Praise Allah. Praise Allah for the ones who are watching the show. But now the question is, how deep are we going to go to do our homework and do our research and become good students and become due diligence? Just because you raise the window open doesn't mean that the window is going to give you a nice fresh breeze. It might give you some heat wave or something. Sometimes you're going to be hot, sometimes you're going to be cold. So we really have to understand the conditions and situations. Until the brothers and sisters can understand that this life eating more than Big Macs and fried chicken wings and all this other stuff and all this fried disastrous food to your health, then the brothers and sisters out there, the people ain't gonna change, yo. Gotta be careful, family. So with that being said, I'm about to sign off. Got some things I gotta do. So y'all take care. Peace and love. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, through the Holy Prophet, through all of that. Islam family. Peace and love. Please say, please call. Please talk to your loved ones. Mom, pop, whoever. Make peace with your family. It's important. So this is your brother man, Morris Life, signing out. Islam.